Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. I got tired of just putting text on the screen, so I decided to do some narration for this video. Anyways, let's get on to the main point of the video, which is building roller coasters. I first have to take down Dominator before I start building. I start by salvaging any parts that I potentially could use for my new coaster. I just took off the motor in EV3. I'm going to take off this brake run and reuse it as the brake run for my new coaster. Next, I focus my attention on the chain lift and take off essential pieces for a lift hill, like the chain and these gears here. I'll first take off these red and yellow track pieces on the lift hill. Next, I want to take off these two big main supports. The coaster type I want to build has this really cool support structure that I want to try to recreate. And these supports will be perfect to reuse on my new coaster. Next, I want to salvage all of these pieces. They're really useful at making realistic looking triangular supports. Once we have everything we need, then comes the most satisfying part. Now let's start building the new coaster. The coaster type I want to build is a Mack Hyper coaster, especially one that looks like Hyperia. I know I've done a Mack Hyper coaster in the past, but I want to build one that has the unique inversions that Hyperia has. It's going to have a lot of similar elements to Hyperia, but I'm going to throw in and switch out some inversions to make it unique. What I'm building right now is the station, and that smaller part is the section before the lift hill. This is when I begin to build the first inversion, which you can think of as like a JoJo roll, but on a 180-degree turn. Think of the first element on like the ride to happiness right before the launch. Here I bend the track down and connect it to the other section of supports. What you saw there is the reason why inversions are really hard to build. The track holds a lot of tension, and if it's not supported enough, it could easily break. So I made sure to strengthen this section up a little bit more. I put on some more cross ties and smoothened it up, and then I raised the station a little bit more. Now we need to actually support the inversion. I made this pillar with an upside down connection and connected it up to the rest of the supports. So here's the first test. Now I'm going to quickly put on the brake run. It was easy enough to connect it to the rest of the supports because I made it modular and just snapped it on. Okay, let's start the lift hill. I'm going to take the footers off and just leave the beams. I made a quick drawing to use as a template to make the supports. I lined up some support pieces to give me a reference of how tall it would be. There are 15 lined up, and just for reference, Dominator was 21 supports tall. I want it to be quite tall to have enough speed for all of its inversions. Using Technic pieces, I made a strong connection. I feel the lift hill of a coaster is what makes the coaster really stand out, so I like to make my lift hills as realistic as possible, looking exactly like the reference coaster. Now I'm going to add these horizontal and diagonal support beams on my drawing. And here's the finished structure. Even with its weird angles, it's surprisingly sturdy. I'll quickly put together a long beam. I like putting these on my coasters because it makes the lift hill track look much straighter and smoother. Now I'm working on the topper piece. The hole in the middle is for the chain to go through. Now I'm going to put it on the supports. Made sure to leave some room on the bottom for the chain to go through. Here I put on the topper piece. It needs a few more supports in the center to make the beam less saggy. I like to double up on these singular supports. It makes it much stronger than just stacking a bunch of these support pieces on top of each other. The beam's now all straightened out and looks really nice. I'm going to use this piece to angle the supports a little bit more to the right. And another support in the center wouldn't hurt. Now it's time to finally put on the track for the lift hill. Doing this is a little boring, so I just did some jump cuts to make it go faster. I put on the upper gear and now it's ready for the chain part of the chain lift. Now the track finally crests the top of the lift hill. Here I put on a chain and a motor, and now it's ready for its second test. Now it's time to shape the drop. I like to put the cross ties on first and then basically mold the supports around the track. I want the track to be heart-lined, which is much tougher to do. But after a lot of fiddling, I got something that looks pretty close to what I was going for. Connecting the track to the supports was the toughest part. Since the beams were in a weird orientation, I had to use snot bricks for the connections, which made the track much weaker and made it prone to breaking. I'm going to put another beam in here to make it a little more stronger. It's already coming out really great and looks exactly like the concept art I made for this. Now I need to actually make the track pull up instead of just a straight down dive into the floor. I put in some simple supports and flattened it out. I like to put on 5-pound weights to keep the support structure from sliding around. And there's the full drop done. It's about ready for its next test. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you like the voiceover better than just the music in the comments down below. And stay tuned for the next video where I hopefully finish out the layout.